The Royals got a win on the south side of Chicago Sunday afternoon, beating the White Sox 5-4, snapping a 4-game losing streak. What's going on, you guys? This is the KCSN Live Royals post-game show. I'm Joel Penfield. Pinch hitting today is Tucker D. Franklin joining me. How you doing, man?
Hey, Joel, I'm good. And this pinch hitting is like when it's late in the season and you've been out of the playoff race for a really long time and you have a whole lot of injuries and there's really nobody on your bench. And you look down at the end and be like, I guess we'll give him a chance to come in to the game. And this is what this pinch hitting is like. So I appreciate you giving me a chance to come into the game and get some AB, see some live pitching, because God knows I need it.
Listen, we don't have a lot of wins to talk about, so we need vibes. And you are chief vibes commander here at KCSN, so I'm all for it. And I think we can. You have enough ball knowledge to keep yourself afloat. So
I will say this is the second post game show I've done. Second win. I'm only doing post game show wins. Yeah.
Hey. Maybe we just need to set that up and just move forward. I love Kevin and I love talking to him. I love Jared. Yeah. Oh, they're all great. Tucker Franklin's 2-0 on the postgame.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a little analytic that no one's talking about right now. I need to get that one out on the streets.
Yeah, I appreciate you stopping by, stopping your Sopranos speed run that you're doing right now for a little baseball. I will say that's one show I have not watched yet. I need to. It's on my list. I'm just bad about watching like long form TV shows like that. Sure. Yeah. Because I'm so afraid of starting it and then not liking it and then being the one guy that doesn't. Yeah. So I'd rather be the guy that's never seen it than the guy that's like, it's fine.
It's pretty intimidating. Like, especially that whole series is a pretty intimidating series when you talk about like 6 seasons, 13 episodes a season. Every episode's like an hour long. So you're talking like 80 hours of television. Then the last season's like 23 episodes or something like that, spanned over a couple years that they did this last season. So it's super intimidating, but I told myself I just have to start it. And it doesn't matter. Like I've slowed down a little bit with like the World Cup, especially like the group stage games really firing up, and I've been paying attention a little bit more to the World Cup. So I've slowed down a little bit. I'm at early as season 5, but I'm not at the same rapid pace I was at the beginning of the summer. But the sports are starting to catch up with me. Luckily, the World Cup was good because the Royals have not been good to carry me to football season.
Yeah, Royals sit now 35-50 after that 4-game losing streak that involved back-to-back games that Tyler Tolbert had to pitch in. We'll talk about the Friday prison beating that was later on in this episode. So let's start with the win that happened today. Weird game to begin. Just not crooked numbers all over the place. It's 5-4 after 4 innings. And listen, with the state of the Royals bullpen, I'm thinking, how many runs is it going to take to actually win this game? Can this offense keep it going? And no Cags in the lineup today, groin soreness. Similar for Nick Lofton, in a little bit of a different capacity. So those two guys are out of the lineup. You got Tolbert in there. They threw Meisner in there. They moved Jensen up to hit 3 against the lefty and Anthony Kay, who has had an okay year, but has dominated the Royals in his 2 outings. And it was like a sub 1.5 ERA, but they got to him today. He doesn't even get through 4 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, 4 of them earned, only 2 strikeouts. And they found ways to just put numbers up. And it started early with Carter Jensen, leadoff single, extends his hitting streak. And they just kept at it. And it was just a 1 run here, 2 runs here. It wasn't crazy, but they were able to counterpunch the White Sox, who just kept out in that lineup is really, really good. But the story of this game to me is the bullpen, right? Like for as maligned as they are and deservedly so in a lot of areas, today they locked it down. The Winder only gives them 4 innings. Now, the nice thing is with Walker getting into the 8th inning yesterday, pretty much everyone was available outside of Daniel Lynch.
Yeah.
So Steven Cruz, Beckway, Lucas Ursig, Matt Strahm, and then Alex Lang combine for 5 innings of 1-hit ball. The only hit was Beckway in the 6th inning. Sneaky high leverage spot for him that he ends with a strikeout. Lucas Ursig works around a leadoff walk, gets a double play. Strahm with a clean inning, which he desperately needed. And then Alex Lang, again, shuts it down in the 9th inning. I think he's 7 for 7 in 9th inning save opportunities this season. And one of those, he took a line drive off the foot, kick saving a beauty, and keeps it going. and no reaction, like not
No.
even just, hey, get back in the dugout. I'm fine. Like I love that. Again, want my closer to have a screw loose a little, just a little bit, not a psycho, but just enough to where you're crazy enough to get those last 3 outs. But the offense did its job. The defense was solid today, and the pitching staff held it down when Lewinder wasn't able to give them the length that they were hoping.
What I like about Lang is that he wears the turtleneck. I think that is an ultimate baseball swag move, the little mock turtleneck, and he doesn't wear sleeves either. It's just like he's wearing like the turtleneck with no sleeves. Kind of a baller move. I respect that. That's what I like about him. But you're right. The bullpen coming in, a bunch of guys throwing 1 inning is, kind of what you kind of a little bit anticipate a little bit after Avila only goes 4 innings, but a big day for them. Also, Avila. He's from Venezuela, right? If I'm remembering correctly. So a lot of heavy hearts. I know a lot on the team. A lot of guys on the Royals from Venezuela as they're still trying to sort through everything that's going on down there. So good to see those guys come out and play well in the bullpen as well. Kind of pick up Avila after a bit of a rough start. But you hang 4 runs in the first 2 innings, and then don't allow them to score at all the rest of the game. So good on them and good on the Royals there.
Yeah, and it was the 2 outs thing that's been a problem for this pitching staff all year. That's what bit Avila in this start. Yeah. I thought it's one of those things where you can tell the stuff plays, and that's very clear. But it's just a matter of honing it in at the big league level. And I go back and forth all the time because I came into the year thinking he is a reliever, and then he's had a stretch of starts where I'm like, okay, I see the vision. I understand why they believe he can start. But then you see bits and pieces throughout the outing of, that's why he's a reliever. And I think we saw some of that today. And I just think 1 to 2 inning spurts is much better for him. But with the state of the rotation, with the injuries, potential multiple guys being out after the trade deadline on other teams, he's going to be in the rotation for the rest of this season. So we're going to see 90 to 100 innings of Lewinder Avila for the rest of this year and see, okay, can he actually turn himself into this? Or was this a 100-inning tryout in the rotation? And at this point, hey, we just need to put him in the bullpen. And there's nothing wrong with that because I think he can be an electric 8th, 9th inning arm. And that sort of stuff, you see it at the big league. You see the stuff is clear. Like there is no concern to me that he is not a big league pitcher. I just don't know if he's a big league starter. Sure. And that's still, the jury's still out on that, but he's pitched really well on the road, which is really interesting. He's gotten knocked around at Kauffman Stadium pretty much every time he's pitched. When he's on the road, he's awesome. So that's kind of weird given that generally a pitcher's park at the K, but you'll take what you have today from him. And, he'll have outings like that. But again, I think the more just, if you're able to take a 50,000-foot view of the stuff and see how that plays, I'm fine with what I saw from him today generally.
And that's kind of where we're at. It feels like in the season now, it's a 50,000-foot view season of you're getting guys out there, especially with the injuries that they've had, not only just in the pitching staff, but also in the lineup. You're now looking at guys from a 50,000-foot view, from here on out, with 35 wins on the season. I know the American League is, to put it kindly, ass. It's not good. So they're still a stone's throw within a wild card spot, which is frankly insane. They should not be. But I know that there's still some sneaky suspicions there of maybe they could put a run together. But it seems like every time they put a run together, they go ahead and put an equal slide together. So
correct. That was the thing.
So frustrating.
And they won 5 of 6, and it wasn't like I was oh, they're back, but it was, oh, this is interesting, right? You're starting to get the staff had kind of sorted things out with all the injuries. Jensen's getting going. Cags is getting going. Right. You get Bobby back at some point. You feel okay, maybe they're going to help drive this thing forward, and maybe there's a turnaround in there. Not even it was a guarantee, but it's the potential is there. Then they go out and lose 4 in a row and give up 38 runs in a 25-inning stretch, and it's oh, okay, so they're just a bad team that had a nice stretch of baseball, and that's what we're going to see the rest of this year. This is not a good team. This is a team that's going to have stretches because there is talented players on the team that they're going to have days where they go out like today and find a way to win. They're going to have games like they did the Tuesday in Tampa where they score 12 and win a game on the backs of Cags and Carter hitting a bunch of home runs. They're going to have outings where Avila shoves, Kolek shoves, and you're going to win. But you're also going to have games like what you saw yesterday, which is a 2-run kick in the dick loss because you can't get out of your own way offensively and the bullpen blows it.
Yeah.
Like that's just what we're going to see the rest of the year. It's been the theme of the last season and a half. It's just not being able to get out of your own way.
And I think if there is a positive though too, I mean, Carter continues his 19 game hit streak now? Like
longest by a rookie in franchise history.
That dude's raking. Jack, he continues to rake too. I know he wasn't in the lineup today, but he continues to rake today, or just in general. And he's coming on, he's coming strong. You feel good about those guys. You are starting to feel a lot better about those tertiary pieces right now, but guys that you anticipate to be the core of this team moving forward with Bobby Witt Jr., who continues to be a stud. But it's just one of those things where you see the things the developing and coming along. So there is good things to see from this, especially watching Carter play. Man, he's such a good ball player, and I love to watch him play. And I know you can't catch every day, and there's certainly been some conversations about his defensive catching of late, but. There are some frustrations there, and the way that this team now is going to have to has been shuffling everything around with Vinny's injury and how they've got to play at first base. But I think Carter's done a really good job kind of rising to the moment since Vinny was really gone out.
Yeah, Carter's hitting 365 during this hitting streak right now. And he had a couple of games in a row where it was it came down to the last at bat. He had one in the 8th inning, a little two-hopper over the third baseman. He hits the bomb to end the no-hitter on Thursday. So, and I think it was just 1 or 2 hits here and there, but then today he breaks out with 3 hits, and I want to talk more about Carter. Later in the episode, we do need to hit a break, but we'll talk. I think that's pretty much enough from this game. I mean, we get multi-hit games from Jensen. You get multi-hit game from Lane Thomas, Starling Marte, Salvi, who has 2 hits. And I know it's not pretty for Salvi, but he's still hitting. Isaac Collins blooped a double in later in his game, and Cameron Meisner turned around 98 for a single. So you scatter 11 hits today. You're still 3 for 13 with runners in scoring position, but that's just what this team does. They just do not hit with runners in scoring position. I know June has been better, but the numbers still show that they're in the bottom 5 in the league over the course of the season. But find a way to win. And we don't have many of those lately, so we take them where we can get them, and we move forward. We'll talk about the unfortunate 2 games that happened at the beginning of this series. On the other side of this break, we'll be right back.
I'm BJ Kissel, founder and CEO of KC Sports Network. Emprise Bank has been with us from the beginning. They were our first network partner, and they believed in the vision of what we were building from the start. I can't speak to any other banks or companies and how they operate, but I can tell you from personal experience and based on the growth of the network you're listening to right now, that if you have banking needs, call our friends at Emprise Bank. We've worked with so many great people there over the years, from Vicky and Aggie to Andrea, Lori, Jackie, Deb, and Aaron, and not to mention so many others that not just supported KC Sports Network, but supported our KCSN Foundation as well. But the best thing that I know is that if I have a question or a problem, no matter how dumb the question is, I know who I'm going to call and who I'm going to talk to, and I know that I'm getting an answer from someone that I can trust, and I know that person is there to help us. That's why Emprise Bank has always been and continues to be our partner in Possible, and they can be yours too. You just have to reach out. If you have a banking need, whether it's business or personal, hit me up. I will connect you directly with the same people that have helped us build KCSN. And that's our friends at Emprise Bank.
David Starnes Allstate Insurance is a proud partner of KC Sports Network, serving the Kansas City area and all throughout the Midwest. If you are looking for new coverage or something that better suits your home, auto, health, or any of your other insurance needs, give Dave and his team a call. Elevate your coverage and be worry-free with David Starnes Allstate Insurance.
You know that moment, the one when you realize you left your favorite sunglasses at the beach or on the roof of your car or at the gas station 3 states away. Well, I've been there too. But then I found Shady Rays, and it changed the game. These sunglasses are made for real life, seriously good-looking, polarized, durable, and not stupidly expensive. And here's the wild part. If you lose them or break them, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. So now I actually wear my sunglasses without fear, on hikes, at concerts, on the boat, wherever. Royals are back at Kauffman Stadium. It's going to be 95 plus basically for the next week, in the Kansas City area. If you're going to be sitting in those seats down the first base line for those 6-10 starts coming up this week, you may need some Shady Rays there as if you're on that first base side into the outfield, the sun kind of beating on you for a couple innings. That would be the place to do it. They have sunglasses for golfing, fishing, hiking, and biking, even sunglasses for kids. Shady Rays is eyewear that has your back. Go to shadyrays.com and use code KCSN for 40% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. I guess you could throw in Kansas City Stadium for the round
True.
of 32 game coming up here soon at Kansas City Stadium.
Yeah.
Let's unfortunately talk about the game that happened on Friday. Doing these one live post game shows essentially turns it into a series recap. So
Sure.
we'll just hit this. This was Stephen Kolek's spot in the rotation. He went on the paternity list. Congratulations to him and his wife, welcoming in a new child. So this kind of threw things for a loop a little bit. Steven Cruz comes in as an opener. They call up Mitch Spence to fill that spot as the bulk reliever in a bullpen type game. Now, the implication of being the bulk reliever is you handle bulk innings, meaning you're trying to get through at least 4, right? If you can get through, that puts you through 5th, maybe the 6th, and then bullpen game it from there.
Yeah.
Mitch Spence goes an inning and a third, gives up 8 hits, 10 earned runs, 3 walks, 2 homers, strikes out 2. In his time in Kansas City, which is not very long, he has not thrown too many innings for the team. It's actually 9 1/3 innings. His ERA is 21.21.
Oh,
yeah.
not good.
No,
not good.
This was a trade that was made like early to mid spring training to get him from the A's as big league depth. I did not view this as some move that's going to change the organization, right? Or that's going to change the pitching staff, but it's big league depth. He is proving to not even be that. I know people were mad that they gave him AJ Causey, who was a college reliever that pitched in Double A last year, and he was good, to be fair. Like he had a 1.96 ERA last year, 2 stops. So if you want to look at the other side of this trade, in Double A right now, in 25 innings, he has a 6.12 ERA in 25 strikeouts in 25 innings. He's also pitching on the moon in Midland, so take that for what it's worth. So it's not like this guy's out there world beater and holy crap, I can't believe you gave this guy up.
Yeah.
But Mitch Spence isn't big league depth at this point. Like he hasn't done, like his job was to get you through a few innings. He couldn't get through 3. Yeah. And I know it didn't matter who pitched for the Royals on Friday. And as Ryan Lefebvre mentioned on the broadcast, the Royals could have thrown their hat up there. It probably would have been hit for a 2-run double.
Yeah.
But you have to do better. And you have to find other options if that's going to be your ship him back and forth guy, because it hasn't mattered when he's pitched. He's gotten knocked around at every point.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's not even filling a role anymore. It's just, he's out there throwing BP. Like it just doesn't work that way. And it killed the bullpen for that game. And the game was already out of hand at that point. He gave up 10 runs in 1 inning, right? Like he gave up a 3-run homer to Miguel Vargas. And I was like, okay. And so I got up, I went and got myself a drink. My daughter needed something. My son needed something. I check on my wife, my mother-in-law, see how they're doing. I come back up and it's 10-0. I'm like,
yeah, right.
Hold on, what happened here? And it just, the game got out of hand so fast. It was just a snowball rolling downhill. Beck Way gave up a run. Lucas Erceg gives up 2. John Schreiber gives up 4 runs. Alex Lang gave up a grand slam, I believe, in 5 earned runs. Daniel Lynch gives you 2/3 of an inning shutout, and so does Tyler Tolbert. So shout out to Tyler Tolbert for sacrificing his elbow in back-to-back games of absolute blowouts where you are outscored like 35-3.
Oh, yeah.
If my math is correct.
Yeah, that game did come off the heels of them just getting absolutely blasted against the Rays too.
Yep. Yeah, because they lost that game 13-2 and were nearly no hit.
Yes.
Craig Kimbrell had the no hitter. That was how a bullpen game was supposed to go, because they had Casey Legumina give you an inning and a third, and then Ian Seymour takes you all the way to the 8th, and then Craig Kimbrell was going to give you the 9th, and it was a combined no hitter. And they nearly got it, but shout out to Craig Kimbrell for just piping a fastball to Carter Jensen. I do appreciate him doing that.
Respect,
because they had gotten no hit and then lost 22-1.
Yeah, I had a similar experience you did. I have like the live widgets on my phone every time like the Royals play. So I saw it had started and I was like, oh, I got to get that game on the other TV because I think I was watching soccer at the time. I was gonna go get it on the other TV. I think I would go get something to drink, and then all of a sudden I saw like the 3-run home run. I was like, oh, that's tough. And then it just kept going. And I was like, oh my gosh, a 22 spot. 22. You're gonna give up 22 runs to the Chicago White Sox. Now I know they've been playing pretty well recently.
They're good.
But still,
they're a good team. We're gonna talk about that here in a minute.
it's still the White Sox still have, like, when I see the White Sox, I still think, okay, the Royals should still beat this team. I know that they've been playing well. They're a good team, but like, it's brutal. It's tough. It's tough to see, tough to watch, especially that game on Saturday too. You mentioned that was a tough one, as they were kind of hanging in there the whole time, and then just falling apart there at the end. It was not a great run of 4 games there. Like, you talk about 4-game losing streaks. It's never good to have a 4-game losing streak, but I think the Royals put on a clinic of how to do it really bad. I think the Royals just showed you how to have a really bad 4-game losing streak.
That's a great way to describe it. Yeah, Miguel Vargas in that game, 3 for 6 with 5 RBIs. Kyle Teal, 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs. Chase Maidroth, 4 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Tristan Peters, 2 for 5 with 6. And Jacob Gonzalez, their 9-hitter, 3 for 4 with 5 RBIs. Meanwhile, the Royals had 4 hits. Jensen with 1. I think it was to lead off the game. Like, gave you a little hope there early,
awesome,
and then nothing
good.
else. Cags hits a triple and then is stranded at third, naturally. Isaac Collins with 1 and Josh Rojas with 1 later in the game. All in all, a prison beating. As I mentioned earlier, there's no other way to describe what we witnessed. You get kind of the opposite game, obviously, on Saturday.
Yeah.
You lose 2-1 in a game where it's just like you have your chance. And the thing is, they had chances. It wasn't like they were entirely shut down. But, 1 run on 6 hits. Michael Wacha did everything he could to keep them in that game. He goes 7 2/3, only the 1 run, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk, 6 hits. That's it. And still found a way to blow it. Daniel Lynch gets you out of the 8th, and then single. Schreiber gets a strikeout and then ends up getting walked off on, infield in. Balls hit sharply right under the glove of Bobby Witt Jr., and I'm not mad at him for not making that play. Like, he's infield in. It's just pure reaction time, and he missed it. Not many shortstops are making that play, and if a shortstop as good as Bobby Witt Jr. is not making that play, then no one is, right? And they just got entirely shut down by Davis Martin, who has pitched well this year. He gave them 5 1/3 shut. Sean Newcomb gave up the run, and then Grant Taylor, who's an awesome reliever, throwing 102, 2 innings, shutout with 4 strikeouts. I mean, they just had nothing for him. They were 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position, left 6 on base. Is it Jensen with an RBI single? That was the lone run scored. And then you add injury to insult when a bunt is laid down and Daniel Lynch throws the ball, 90 miles an hour right into the crotch of Nick Lofton from about 10 feet away. He leaves with a contusion, which, listen, he was down for a bit and walked off the field. Good for him. I would have just barrel rolled.
Just kept rolling,
Just kept rolling, and then you're not seeing me for, multiple days. I'm not getting out of bed after that happening to me. Also, just editorial note, you're a third baseman, wear a cup, dude.
That's a great point. They don't do that anymore? Is that not a thing anymore?
There are catchers that don't. And
That's
I'm like,
crazy.
That is insane.
That's playing with fire at this point.
I watched there was a game, it might have been earlier this year or last year, where a guy threw a 100-mile-an-hour sinker and it got foul tipped just directly into the catcher's crotchal region. And I'm like, dude, and you could see it hit, and I'm like, oh, there's no cup there. That's a problem. Like, I understand it may not be the most comfortable thing on the planet. You're playing in the big leagues, and you're playing third base. Like, there are certain positions, like in the outfield, like, I get it. Right. You're a pitcher, I get it. But you're a third baseman in the big leagues. Like,
right.
You might need to, he already has a child or 2, so it's not like that is necessarily in doubt for him at this point. But, man, and that is just people equated it to the Ken Harvey injury from the mid 2000s, where it was like a friendly fire. Certainly qualifies. And just if you were to sum up the Royal season in one clip, it's probably that one.
Yeah.
But it's just it's the total opposite game. Like, you get your ass beat like they did on Friday. Like, okay, hey, they were just better than us today, and those were easier to flush in my opinion. But then to turn around the next day and it's 1-1 and you have a chance to win and you just still find a way to lose it. the way it goes.
I love that it was that the clip going around had the old timey score bug in the corner too.
Yes, very cool.
That also made it funnier. I think that made the clip funnier of him getting hit in the crotchal region. Also, calling that a contusion is maybe more painful than just saying he still hurts from getting hit in the nuts. A ball contusion, is that what he's got right now? He's got a ball bruise.
They did not specify where the contusion was.
That's a great point.
But I think we all can use our inferences to figure out where it is.
Contusion.
Sorry to laugh at Nick Lofton taking one in the nuts.
No. You mean he's probably laughing at it now, right? Wouldn't you think? Because I know when I get hit in the nuts, it hurts at first, and then I'm just like, that was kind of funny,
And if I'm Daniel Lynch, I'm probably like, hey, what kind of bourbon do you like? What kind of wine does your wife like? What do you like for dinner? Can I get you a steak dinner? Something? My bad, dude. I made that analogy a lot on this show recently. But hey, I think it's a fact. Like when you have big league money, you can do such things.
He's got to give him something. He's got to compensate him for his time, I think.
I think so.
Oh.
So I think the bigger point, and I think this has been bared out by the majority of the season, if you watched not just the Royals, but the league as a whole, the White Sox are a legitimately good team.
Yeah.
Right. They're 43-38. They're first in the division, which, again, I think says more about the state of the AL Central than it does necessarily the White Sox, but they are leading the division in a year where, as I talked to Elijah Evans from Just Baseball, he's like, hey, if they win 75 games, I'm going to be thrilled because it's just heading back in the right direction. Maybe they can sneak 77. And I was like, you know what? And you could see it last year. They were still not a great team. They lost 90-plus games. But you could see, okay, hey, they're trending in the right direction. Like they got some solid players. And they've completely lapped the Royals.
Yeah.
When 2 years ago, the Royals made the playoffs and the White Sox set the modern era record by losing 121 games and were the disaster of the league. And then last year, the Royals take a little bit of a step back, but they still win 82 games. You still feel like they're in a decent enough, spot. The White Sox still lose around 88 to 90 games. I can't exactly remember what that number was off the top of my head, but still okay, they're turning in the right direction. Maybe a year away, a lot of young guys, but I think they're heading in that direction. And it's just flipped. The Royals are in last place in the AL Central, and the White Sox are in first. The White Sox have I think Will Venable's done a fantastic job as the manager of that team, and they're getting contributions from so many young players that this might actually be the beginning of something. When they had Luis Robert and Michael Kopech and Eloy Jimenez back in the early 2020s, but that was going to be the team that did it, and they never really got off the ground. But with this team, Miguel Vargas, who they got from Michael Kopech 2 or 3 years ago, he's got 19 home runs now. Colson Montgomery is insane, like a 3 true outcome shortstop, and he's ed 20. Chase Mydroth, Brandon Montgomery, they got in the Garrett Crochet trade. Last year, Braden Montgomery just made his debut. He was in the same draft as Cags. Sam Antonacci was like a low-round guy out of Coastal Carolina that Elijah told me about earlier this year. And he's got an 800 OPS and is their pesky leadoff hitter. Kyle Teal was a part of that same trade.
Yeah.
They're getting all these young pitchers, Davis Martin. They still have Noah Schultz and Grant Taylor. They have the makings of this team. And it's just that should be the Royals.
Yeah.
That should, based on the core that this team has, I don't think it's right now. There is obviously injuries have played a factor. It is not an excuse. It's part of the story. I think those two things are different, and I've talked about that before. But I look at this and I'm like, there's no reason this team should be in last place and getting lapped by the White Sox, considering where they were 2 years ago. And I do not mean that as an insult to the White Sox. I do not. I think they deserve a ton of credit for in 2 years going from where they were to where they are now. Will Venable deserves credit. Chris Getz, who was a punching bag in the league for a couple of years, part of that, he was the GM of that 121-loss team that has got this thing turned around and quick. Now, I wonder if they'll be able to sustain it. This does feel a little 2024 Royals, like arriving a year early, that maybe it takes a step back next year. But And they're also doing this without Munetaka Murakami, who's one of the best power hitters in the league. And he was taking the league by storm when he was healthy. He's on the shelf right now with a hamstring strain, but they'll have him back after the All-Star break. And then, good God, with the way this offense is playing, they're a top 10 offense in the league and probably can trend even higher than that. It's just really disappointing, and I think a little damning that this has happened in a 2-year stretch. And the Royals do have some serious soul searching to do as we move forward the rest of this year and then into the offseason.
I think it's a great way to put it. I think that this team's kind of going to have to look themselves in the mirror a little bit and see where they're at, where they stack up against the rest of the teams in their division, as you just did with the White Sox. I mean, you do with the other teams too. You see where they stack up with the other teams in the league, in the American League, and see where their development is and where their shortcomings are. Because I think that the team needs some answers because they haven't necessarily had the development that you expected. So something has to change. They can't expect to do the same thing and expect a different result at this point. I think something has to change, whether that is new players, whether that's new front office personnel, whether that's new coaching personnel. Something has to change. I don't know what it is exactly, but you can't just expect to keep doing the same thing and expecting it to change for the better. And I think that, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. They just are going to have to do some soul searching and see, all right, where are our downfalls at? Where are the spots that we really need, that we are lacking, where other teams are kind of lapping us in, like with the White Sox? I think it's great to compare them to a team like the White Sox because of the similar situations that they found themselves in. And I know it kind of, as somebody who's gotten used to the White Sox being that worst team in baseball, right? Like that's what they are. Like the White Sox are always going to be that worst team. They're always going to be that bad team. To now be lapped up by the White Sox and have the White Sox put 22 runs up on you, that doesn't feel great. I think that's going to be cause for some, okay, let's start having some conversations. Let's start having some tough conversations about what this team looks like moving forward.
And I think and this is not like a one-to-one comparison, but I think it just shows that the White Sox are in really good shape for this year and beyond. Yep. Because when you look at, and this is not an exact science because who knows how all of these guys pan out, but when you look at like the top 10 prospects, top 15 guys in their system, just using MLB Pipeline as an example, like Braden Montgomery is up, Noah Schultz is in AAA, Hagen Smith is in AAA, Tanner McDougal, who's their number 6 prospect, is in AAA. Caleb Bonham, who's their number 1 prospect right now at 20. He's 20 years old in AA. William Burgoa Jr. is a middle infielder at 21. He's in AAA. Mason Adams, their number 11 prospect, is in AAA. Yeah. David Sandlin, who was a Royals farmhand via the Red Sox and now the White Sox, he pitched on Friday night. He's back in AAA, but big league part of this, right? Jacob Gonzalez, who's still got prospect eligibility in the major leagues right now. Riku Nishida, who made his debut earlier this year, is in AAA. And then Duncan DeVete, who is their number 30 prospect, he's in AAA. They have all these guys that are right there ready to be a part of this. And when you compare that to the Royals, and this, who knows, again, maybe these guys pan out, but just going down 1 to 10, just as an example, Blake Mitchell, high A. Kendrick Churio, high A. Josh Hammond, low A. David Shields, high A. Sean Gamble, low A. Angel Gomez in the Dominican Summer League. Ramon Ramirez, high A. Ben Cooter in a triple A, but he's not pitching the rest of the year. Yondo Ricardo, low A. Drew Beam, double A. It's just, and like all the guys that you talk about as like triple A, they really don't have prospects there. Like no one that I look at as that's a part of the future. Like Gavin Cross certainly is not. Shane Panzini is nice org depth. That's what they have at the upper minors. So it would give me more hope if like Ramon Ramirez was in AA right now, or Blake Mitchell again. Maybe I think Blake Mitchell gets up to AA at some point this year. You know, he missed most of last year with the hamate injury, and he's turned it around and has been better. But I think he's a 3 true outcome catcher. We'll see what what he's able to do. I mean, he's still striking out 35%, walking 25, which is great. But I don't like at what point does the strikeout number cap any sort of production?
Yeah.
And I don't even think he's the number 1 prospect in the system. I think it's Churio, but that's another conversation. They just don't have guys right now that are in the chamber ready to go. Like they're all 2028, 2029 guys. And right now this team can't afford that. And so that's just one point. That's one piece of it. It may be a little contrived, but it's a part of this. And I think it's a big reason why the White Sox are where they are and where the Royals are where they're at.
I want to ask you a question.
Go for it.
As we move forward, and this might actually go into the kind of the next topic we want to talk about a little bit. As we move forward here, how many? And I look at this Royals lineup, and I know it's kind of hard to look at it now with all the injuries that they have and everything. I just look at it and I just think, how many bats do you truly trust in this lineup for like next year, for like years to come?
Yeah.
Do you like look at this and be like, yeah, these are guys that I feel good about being solid hitters for the Kansas City Royals for the next couple of years?
Carter, 100%.
Yep.
Bobby, no kidding.
Sure.
Jack, yes. Michael Garcia, yes. Still, even with backsliding a little bit this year, I think it's been a little more injury related for him than anything. Maybe end of list, because I like Michael Massey, but he's he's like league average. I think you throw him in like tier 2 of that. Like he will be in the lineup in 2027 should we play baseball in 2027. Right. Because sneaky, I know people love to dunk on him, but he's a league average hitter with plus defense. Like he's fine. Yeah. And you're not asking him to hit 3-4, you're asking him to hit 7th. Like not everyone's a 120 weighted runs created plus guys. If he's a 90, he's a 1.5 to 2 win player because of the defense. Isaac Collins is going to be in the lineup, but I don't know if I necessarily trust him. Nick Lofton, I think, is going to be a part of this as a bench guy, which, again, in that role, that's fine.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I don't think there's much because Josh Rojas certainly will not be around. Tyler Tolbert, I think he's around, but I think it's an org depth. I think he's just thrown into a larger role now because of the injuries.
Right.
Cameron Meisner, I'm still half intrigued by, but I don't know if he's a long-term piece, maybe as like a 4th outfielder. But again, that's what we're talking about. A lot of this is outside of those 4, maybe Massey, again, kind of in that. I guess I should throw Vinny in there. Like, I'm still going to throw Vinny in there. I will be last off the train, the Vinny Pasquantino train.
Yeah,
like, I'll be last. I still believe in the guy. I know this year has not been what we have been accustomed to last couple of years. But Cameron Meisner, he's hitting 286 with no power and a 74 weighted runs created plus. Like, if you're asking him to be your 4th or 5th outfielder, like, I'll stomach that. But he's having to play pretty much every day right now because of Kyle Isbell's injury.
Yeah, right.
Kyle Isbell in a contract year, I kind of throw into tier 2 with Massey. But really, like, those 4, and then after that, it's really interchangeable, which, again, is a concern, a major concern.
And that's why when you're talking about like just the depth of the organization in terms of the prospects that they have. And like, I'm looking at the lineup right now. It's like, that's not great to hear that depth that they have prospect wise. When I'm looking at the lineup and I feel really good about currently as it sits today's lineup. I'm looking at today's lineup. I feel good about Bobby, Carter. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So this is where, and this is a question that I'm sure that we'll get to and you'll hear from like Jared and Kevin at Royals Pipeline, which is how the Royals attack the draft, because they're drafting 6 and they're drafting 30. Do you do the CAGS thing and get the quickly moved college guy to just put them in a lineup? Like, you're not going to get Chowalski, you're not going to get Von Lackey. But if you decide to go the college route, do you take a Drew Burris who's, got a fairly safe, hit profile? It's a matter of, is he a right fielder or a center fielder? Do you take a Justin LeBron, who's come down a little bit, but Chris Hakapian, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he's a second baseman from Texas A&M. Like, you take that type of guy, you maybe underslot one of these, like a Strauss Snyder from TCU or Gracia from Virginia, and try and get them in. Like, it's going to be really interesting to see how they handle it, because I think if the lineup was in a better position, if they had more guys that you felt super comfortable about for 27 and beyond, you take a swing on a Gio Rojas. You're cool with Jacob Lombard, but or Eric Booth Jr., who I'm fascinated by, but I don't know if they can afford that. And you never want to draft for need in Major League Baseball, but with the potential of the draft shrinking and it seeming as though just, trying to read the tea leaves, like Major League Baseball is trying to get rid of low A and high A,
Right.
and dump so much of this into like all going to college baseball. Like, do you want to take the super raw guy or the high school guy rather than maybe trying to just take the maybe lower ceiling but the higher floor with some room to grow college guy that you can plug in the lineup next year and add to this young group? I don't know. We'll see. That is going to be an interesting part of this, I think.
Yeah, it will be. I'm excited to hear what those guys have to say about the draft. Obviously, with College World Series wrapping up and the draft. Well, I mean, it's like what, June 17th? Is that what it is?
June 11th or July 11th.
July 11th. That's right. Sorry.
So it'll be the Saturday, Sunday before the All-Star.
All-Star. Okay. Yeah,
so,
that's good. That's good.
Because you got the draft, like first round Saturday, and then I think 2 through 10 is Sunday, and then 11 through 20 is Monday, I believe. Something along that line.
Gotcha.
But I do want to spend a little bit more time on Carter Jensen. I know we're going long
Absolutely.
here, but I think we're doing good here. Again, 19-game hitting streak. The numbers right now are up to 251, 317, 438, a 104 weighted runs created plus. At the beginning of this streak, I want to say the weighted runs created plus is in the 80s, and it was just like, okay, he's hitting a rookie wall. We're seeing more of the catcher demand on him, and totally made sense. And it was not there was no point where I'm like, is Carter Jensen part of the future? Like, that was not part of that discussion. But now you see this hitting streak and this ability now, and he's hitting left-handed pitching really well too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now that they kind of slow played it at the beginning of the year, they started to give him opportunities, and now he's doing it, and he is hitting in CAGs, almost like the major league organization knows what they're doing. Crazy concept, I know. Impossible. I know. We are, John 18, 15, 37, 85, 58 knows way more about player development than major league guys. I know. Mm-hmm. That is not an actual account. That's just, you guys get the point. But again, he's handling more of this catcher demand, and he's hitting, and the power has started to come back for him as well. He went through a serious lull for like a month and a half. He hit 6 home runs in the first month of the year. And I'm like, shit, is he going to hit 25? Is he going to hit 30? And then he went a month and a half without a home run. And now he's got 11, and a lot of it has come moving into this leadoff spot. He seems way more comfortable attacking those pitches at the top of the zone where he would get beat the entire year. And I think a great example of that was the Craig Kimbrell fastball. That was 95, 96 at the top of the zone. And Carter just jumped all over it. Now, some of that was seeing, okay, he doesn't want to walk another guy, so he's just going to try and get one over. But he did it at the top of the zone where that was a spot where Carter was getting beat for a while at the beginning of the year. Not as much anymore. Like there's less and less places where pitchers can really attack him that he can't get to. He'll use the left, the big part of the field when he needs to, but really his best outcomes are pull side fly balls. And when he does that, he's got some of the best raw power in the league, and we're seeing that come to fruition. And I do think this was interesting. This was from friend of the show, friend of mine, Alex Duvall, who tweeted a few days ago, I got to tell you, I didn't realize how rare it was for catchers so young as Carter Jensen to get regular big league time. Since 2000, only 5 catchers 22 or younger have gotten 420 plate appearances or more in a season. Oh. Joe Mauer in 2005, Jesus Montero in 2012, Brian McCann in 2006, Yadier Molina in 2005, Francisco Alvarez in 2023. End of list.
Good catchers.
And right now, Carter's around 300 plate appearances through the first half of this season. It's not a one-to-one comparison, but he's productive. He's establishing himself. And what he also mentions in his next tweet is this should be another vote of confidence and he'll be fine defensively. Yeah. Like, I understand that was a talking point for a little bit, and I understood it at the time. But if you're going to complain about one thing, I think the blocking may be like lower on the list. He receives really well. He frames really well. He's getting more comfortable with some of the ABS challenge stuff and the knowledge of the zone, which will come with time. There are still times where I think he needs to challenge more. But again, some of that is just a comfortability at 22, just figuring it out. I'd rather him be more passive than aggressive when it comes to challenging, whereas Salvi, do it as much as you want because you're awesome at it. But all this to say, this streak, what we are seeing, like offensively, the defensive improvement as the year has gone on. Carter is the catcher of the future for this team. And if he's your catcher and your leadoff hitter, potentially against right-handed pitching especially, I mean, this guy has a serious place as a core piece of this team going forward. I wonder if a contract extension could be part of this, right, as we go forward. One of those, like, take up a couple of years of free agency, maybe an 8 or 9 year deal, keep him here until he's 30, into his late 20s, early 30s, and see where this thing goes. That would be a fascinating one for me, but I think it could be one that could work for this team.
Especially as Salvi's contract is winding down here in KC, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, I think, what is he? Does Salvi have like 1 year technically left on his deal? I know he's got some funny money at the end of it. I know it's
let me look this up. I'm pretty sure it was a 2-year deal, but let me confirm that. I can't remember if it's like a 1 with a team option or a 2 or just straight 2-year deal. But I mean, it's a straight 2-year deal.
Okay. But regardless, though, I mean, even you just have him Salvi for next season, right? Like, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's probably it. I would assume for Salvi.
You
never know, but
like, just objectively speaking, he's been one of the worst hitters in the league this year. Like, worst players. I mean, he's like negative 1.5 WAR on the year. It is. I mean, Father Time comes for everybody,
100%.
and he was able to throw some punches and keep him away for a little bit, but it's caught up to him.
It has, and it's always hard to watch, right? That too. I remember like Cardinals fans too with Yachty had kind of gotten to that point too, where he was just kind of like it's kind of getting to be tough to have Yachty out there. But what are you gonna do? You're not gonna tell Yachty or Molina not to play, right? You're not gonna tell Salvador Perez not to play. Salvador Perez is gonna play. He's gonna play. The dude is the captain for a reason. And Carter has made it clear that like you don't have to worry about who's gonna be the guy behind the plate now, and I think that's always good. Yeah,
and he can be your primary catcher next year. You could I think Salvi should catch 2 games in 2027, opening day and the last game of the season.
Yeah, right.
Carter catches pretty much like not everything in between, but like predominantly. And then you sign a veteran to be your backup. Salvi can DH in first base and kind of just move into the kind of what the Cardinals with Albert Pujols at the end, like pinch hit, kind of just be a guy, be a leader type next year. I think it makes that transition a heck of a lot easier. Where if Carter was hitting if Carter was hitting the $1.70 and really struggling and it looked like the defense wasn't going to improve at all, like there were concerns beyond the blocking, then it gets really tough. But I think it makes that transition a little bit easier as we go forward.
Yeah, 100% agree.
All right. I think that pretty much wraps up anything else from this week. Off day tomorrow as the Royals travel back from Chicago. And then you got a 3-game series against the Tampa Bay Rays once again. Yeah. Off day Friday because of the World Cup. Saturday, Sunday, Monday wraparound series against the Phillies, which is going to be pretty intriguing as a team that has they fired their manager early and they kind of turned it around. It was kind of interesting. But I think that's more exception, not the rule, right? Like I would not look to that as a 1-to-1 comparison here, folks. I'm not trying to insinuate anything here. Don't clip me on that.
Right.
It's going to be Griffin Jackson against Noah Cameron, 6:40 first pitch on Tuesday. I think they're all 6:40 first pitches, if I am not mistaken. It'll be Shane McClanahan, who the Royals lit up in his last inning against Seth Lugo on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, it's still TBD, but I believe that will be, I think that's the Kolek spot when he is back off the paternity list. I do not know what the Rays will do. That was like their opener spot. So I don't know if that's like a true opener or they're waiting on, something. I know they called up a former Oklahoma State pitcher, Trevor Martin. Maybe he starts there. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Potentially we'll be at that game on Thursday, but I will let you guys know as we go forward. We don't get to do this very often on this show, Tucker, but this is the Toast Game brought to you by Holiday Distillery. I do not have any I literally have no bourbon in my house right now, which is a rarity. But I do have a very fine brewski that I've been sipping on throughout this. I will toast that one. Who is your Toast Game for this one?
You know what? My Toast Game, not necessarily going to be for this game in particular, but I just got to give a toast to Tyler Tolbert for just hanging in there, man. I mean, Tyler,
taking one for the team.
I mean, that dude's out here having to fill in for the best player in baseball when Bobby went down, and then he's out here trying to pitch in these games where they're just getting absolutely blasted. I just gotta raise my glass to Tyler Tolbert, just sticking around, just being a real team player, taking one for the team when he needs to. I respect it, so I just want Tyler Tolbert. I'm raising a glass to Tyler.
Ultimate team guy, respect. I love that. I'm going to toast game to the bullpen again. Very fairly maligned for most of this season, and I totally understand it. But today, when they really needed it in a one-run game where it looked like it was going to be a back-and-forth affair for most of the day, 5 innings of one-hit ball, after Luinder Avila leaves the game, between Cruz, Beckway, Ursig, Strom, and then Lang, they held it down against a really good lineup that is pretty dangerous. So they deserve the credit when it is due, and today it certainly is. So toast game to them. Be sure to check out Ben Holiday Bottled and Bond. The soft red wheat is my weakness. Yes. I think, and truthfully, I think the Rickhouse proof is better than the regular, but
it's good for old
very,
fashions.
very
That
good
Rickhouse
stuff.
proof is.
Oh yeah. What's your old, before we get out of here, we've gone on enough tangents. Who cares? What is your old fashioned recipe? Is it pretty standard, or what do you do?
Yeah, I don't get too crazy with it. It's a few dashes of bitters. I do big old cube of ice. I like the big ice cube and a few dashes of bitters, and I'll do like the orange peel in it as well. And I might hit it with maybe a couple drops of water especially if it is that higher proof, right? To kind of
To cut it a little.
To cut it just a little bit, especially too is like the ice will melt too. That's good. I don't go too far, especially with with the soft red and like the holiday bourbons. Like they're so good. I don't want to put anything too much into it to cut into it.
So I'll go a richer like Demerara syrup. So it's 2 cups of sugar to 1 cup of water. So it's a little sweeter. But then I go orange bitters and chocolate bitters, and it goes amazing with the soft red wheat. So that would be my recommendation. It's fantastic. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, I think that's going to do it. I think we might as well land this plane while we can, Tucker. Absolutely. Thank you very much for coming on. I know you got that football show later as you're plugging with the lovely T-shirt. Later, I'll be excited to listen to that tomorrow morning at my office. So thank you everybody for tuning in on a Sunday afternoon, listening after the fact. Like, rate, subscribe, review, hit those notification bells, 5-star reviews on the audio platform. Always appreciated. And we will talk next week. Have a good one, y'all.